hometown. Glen, what's in store for us today?
Well, we got a couple of great adventures. We're heading not far from here in Bathurst, to the northeastern part of the province. We're heading to the Restigouche region, which is Campbellton, Restigouche River. You're going to climb up the Sugarloaf mountain in Campbellton, and you're going to get to run down the Restigouche River, one of the most famous Atlantic salmon fishing rivers, which I'm going to get to do at Larry's Gulch. And I'm also going to go fishing on the most productive Atlantic salmon river, Miramichi, which is only another hour south of here. So it's going to be a great adventure, great fishing, lots of scenery. New Brunswick is the place to do it. Check this out.
New Brunswick is more than 28,000 square miles in size, and the best way to see the wonders of our province is by driving the 5 scenic routes. Each has a color-coordinated sign. The Miramichi River route stretches from the capital city of Fredericton to the city of Miramichi. The rivers of New Brunswick have provided a livelihood for its people for centuries. From thousands of years ago with the Micmac Indians to today's sport angler, the rivers have become the pulse of this province.
There are more than 60,000 kilometers of rivers, lakes, and streams in the province, and with 50 different species of fish swimming under the surface of the water, the Atlantic salmon is the king of all sport fish.
About the Atlantic salmon is that it's a renewable resource. It's an anadromous fish, which means that it spawns and lives in fresh water and then moves out to salt water and migrates off the coast of Greenland. Now, what's special about the Pisgwood River, and in particular where we're standing here at Pavino Falls, is that in the fall, the Atlantic salmon migrate up this river to spawn. They shoot up these falls any way they can, jumping, leaping, slamming their heads off the rocks, and they're trying to get up to the river to the spawning beds, and the cycle repeats itself and repeats itself. As you've seen, these guys are resilient, and man, they must have some hard heads.
Hooking an Atlantic salmon is an exhilarating experience, and in New Brunswick, the 2 most famous rivers that people are drawn to are the Restigouche and the Miramichi. Both are located in the northern part of the province and flow through the cities of Campbellton and Miramichi, respectively. It's fly fishing only on these 2 rivers, and for many anglers, mastering this art form is as important as hooking the elusive and powerful Atlantic salmon. The Miramichi River is New Brunswick's most famous and productive Atlantic salmon rivers. Along its banks, you will find many fishing lodges that not only give you 5-star accommodations, but also create a reclusive and relaxing atmosphere along the river. The Miramichi River system is massive, with several tributaries and brooks making up more than 12,000 square kilometers of watershed. On this fine New Brunswick summer day, I've been lucky enough to be invited to fish at mountain channel lodges on the main southwest Miramichi River near the community of Blackville. The Miramichi River attracts anglers from all over the world. Presidents, sports stars, and average folk alike try their luck at catching one of the elusive Atlantic salmon.
Here we go. We're on the Miramichi River, mountain channel in Blackville. Mountain channel is the lodge. Man, it's exciting. Look at this thing, it's coming right at me. When this fish sees me, it's gonna go for a jump. I haven't seen it yet. Oh, finally. Welcome to one of the best salmon rivers, Atlantic salmon rivers in the world. It's funny, this thing's real close to me here. I don't know what it is. I think it's a grilse.
A grilse is the name used to describe an Atlantic salmon between the sizes of 48 and 63 centimeters.
Anyway.
In New Brunswick, you can keep an Atlantic salmon this size, but anything bigger has to be released back into the water.
Great fishing. That's a small one. That's one of the smallest fish I've ever seen. I don't know if that's a trout or... It's a little small little grilse. Okay, folks, if I can come grab it here. I don't want to hurt it. Actually, I may keep this one. There we go. Oh, Here, buddy. That's one of the smallest growths I've ever seen. Oh, come here. There we go. I may keep this one, folks. I think that's a legal size.
Oh yeah.
We are on the Miramichi River in New Brunswick. This is as small as they come, but it's still beautiful and will be very tasty. So we're gonna put this one in my belly. Out in the water, in my belly.
He must have bad breath or something if he's going to do that.
Wow.
Next on the New Brunswick Adventures.
Robin runs the Restigouche as I continue fishing using cheesies at the New Brunswick Woodsman Museum.
Okay, here, fishy. They said there was fish in here, didn't they?
Welcome back to the New Brunswick Adventures, Canada's East Coast experience.
We're traveling south along the Miramichi River route on our way to the Woodsman Museum. Here, you can journey back to a time when hardy pioneers struggled to carve a living from the forests. The Woodsman Museum is a 15-acre exhibition located in the village of Boys Town. Now you can witness a blacksmith hard at work here, experience haunting legends about murder and mystery in the Miramichi.
Dug a shallow grave and buried him. And up in the Dungarvan region, his grave is said to have flowers ever blooming on his graves.
Travel the grounds on a mini replica of a vintage hooper train, and remember, it is Miramichi, so don't forget your fishing rod. The Woodsman Museum has a pond stocked with speckled brook trout, whose appetite consists of cheesies and wieners. A bit unhealthy? But hey, whatever it takes to fill your tummy. That's right, you can catch these fish with cheesies and wieners.
I find the texture of wieners a little bit hard. Yeah, it's a good bait. It's not wieners. Yeah, it's wieners, but I don't believe it's all beef. First cast has resulted in rien. That means nothing. Okay, here, fishy. They said there was fish in here, did they? Mm-hmm. And I would really talk technical to you about what's happening here in these waters, but I have no idea, so I'm just kind of sight fishing. I've got a wiener on my hook, and I've got probably a $4 rod here. Breakfast. I've never fished with cheesies before. That's how good of a fisherman I am. I can't even catch a fish in a stock pond. Uh-oh, there goes my cheesy.
Well, no luck seeing any fish at the Woodsman Museum. So, I'm heading south on the Miramichi River route to the Atlantic Salmon Museum, stopping at a couple of very unique and remote attractions along the way.
This 630-foot-long bridge spans the Miramichi River and connects the two communities of McNamee and Priceville.
The original collapsed in 1939, taking 3 lives. This story kind of freaked me out at first, until I later found out that it was rebuilt in 1988. This still doesn't ease my fear of heights.
Nearby is the Nelson Hollow Covered Bridge. It is the oldest covered bridge in the entire province, having been constructed in 1876. As early as the 1960s, New Brunswick had well over 300 bridges, and now only 65 remain. This 78-foot-long structure is closed to traffic, but anyone looking to walk through the past is welcome to do so. Our journey along the Miramichi River route finally takes us to the Atlantic Salmon Museum. Located in the village of Doketown, the museum shows the life and history of the Atlantic salmon. Imagine trying to land a 72-pounder on a fly rod. It's been done right here in New Brunswick, and this is the replica of one caught by an American angler. This catch is the North American record for the biggest Atlantic salmon caught on a fly.
This was quite the catch. This was caught by a fellow by the name of Ken Jameson and his guide, Charles Adams from Quebec. We're fishing in the Restigouche River. And they caught this giant with this fly, which is called a silver rat, which is shown in the photograph here, Took them about an hour and a half to bring this giant out of the river, which I don't think is a long time considering the size of it.
On a fly rod at that.
That's right. And according to the catch and release policy, it was put back in the river so it could continue on its spawning travels.
And with any luck, I may just hook one of those Atlantic salmon, because my next adventure takes me to where they're caught, the Restigouche River.
But before Glen can cast a line, I'm going to cruise the river with André Alpin, owner and operator of Alpin Canoe Restigouche, a kayak and canoe rental outfitter, and an all-around outdoor adventurer. So André, whereabouts are we right now?
Yeah, we're on the Restigouche River.
On the Restigouche River?
Yeah.
And there's 5 rivers that run into the Restigouche?
Yeah. You got the Gunamit, the Kedgwick, you got the Patapedia, Upsequitch, and Metapedia.
And approximately how many kilometers is this?
If you want to do 200 kilometers, it's possible.
So how many kilometers will we do in an hour and a half?
We'll do 9 kilometers.
Right.
If we zigzag, we'll do maybe more.
Canoeing down the Restigouche River is the perfect way to take in the natural beauty of New Brunswick. Tell us a bit about the accommodations along the river. Are there cabins or you just pitch a tent?
It's camping sites.
Okay.
Some of the campsites are organized. They're big enough to accommodate a large group. And some are just good spots on the side for a couple of tents, and that's about it. It's camping sauvage, as we say in French.
It's the best way.
Yeah.
So the best fishing in New Brunswick right here.
Every river where people live, they'll say that it's their river which is the best. But I believe the Restigouche is one of the best. Yeah.
This is my stop.
Yeah, that's your style.
And this is where Glen's gonna continue to fish. World-class fishing, Larry's Gulch.
Larry's Gulch is owned by the province of New Brunswick, and it is one of the finest Atlantic salmon lodges in the world. Presidents, prime ministers, sports figures, and average folk alike come here to go fishing. And I'm one of those average folks, lucky enough to go fishing right here on the Restigouche.
Well, folks, New Brunswick has lots of great adventures, and none more so than fishing the Atlantic salmon on the world-famous Restigouche River. We have the best guide in the world right here, Michel Levesque. So let's see if we can catch one of those big fish. If anyone can catch a fish, they can catch it right here on the Restigouche.
Next on the New Brunswick Adventures.
Robin climbs Sugarloaf Mountain in Campbellton, and I go fishing with my guide, Michel Levesque, on the Restigouche River.
Holy geez, nice tan, man, Captain Cranium. Bend down like this, Michelle will blast the people at home with a...
Give them a flash.
Let's put our hats on. That's like too bright around here.
Welcome back to the New Brunswick Adventures, Canada's East Coast experience.
I'm driving the Appalachian Range route, one of New Brunswick's most beautiful scenic highways. My destination? Sugarloaf Mountain. Sugarloaf is located right in the heart of the city of Campbellton and rests on the banks of the Restigouche River. The mountain boasts 12 alpine ski trails in the winter, and in the spring, summer, and fall, its scenery and wildlife draws visitors to this provincial park. Be sure to bring food for the ducks, because I'm pretty sure their idea of snacks isn't dried up leaves. There are over 25 kilometers of hiking and mountain biking trails throughout the park. And if you're feeling up to it, you can hike your way to the summit. It's 1,000 feet high, but I hear the view makes it worth the climb. The Restigouche River is arguably the finest Atlantic salmon river in the world. As I make my way to the top of this mountain, why don't you folks check out Glen at Larry's Gulch, casting a line, relaxing. I'm almost there.
When you're salmon fishing, it's really crucial that you choose the right artificial fly. Now that's not always so easy. Without the right fly, the fish may be sitting there, but you could cast all day getting lots of practice but not get a rise from a fish. How well you cast and present the fly you use is as important as the one you choose.
But there's an angle of casting that you need to keep. And that angle would be around 11 o'clock and 1 o'clock. That's where your wrist should snap actually. All the casting is done between that time.
You've been teaching me some techniques. Keep your rod high, and then you let it go. And when you're extending it, and at the point of the fly entering the water and sitting on the water, you do a little pullback.
Yeah.
Yes, like that. That looked quite nice, wasn't it?
Yes.
So what I've incorporated is like a sub-cast. At the extension, the full extension outwards, we drop the fly onto the water, but also we incorporate what they call, or I call, which hasn't worked yet, the flicker flack. It works amazing for me, though I haven't caught a fish on it yet. Here, I'm gonna give her one more flicker flack, watch this. Okay, takes full extension, full extension. Breathe calmly, become one with the fly and the river at the same time. And we
Flicker
flack, but no fish.
Need a little bit more flicker flack in here.
I gotta practice the flicker flack. We'll be right back with the flicker flack. Okay, takes full extension, full extension.
Next on the New Brunswick Adventures.
Robin reaches the summit of Sugarloaf Mountain as Michelle and I land a huge Atlantic salmon on the Restigouche River.
Flicker flack.
Welcome back to the New Brunswick Adventures, Canada's East Coast experience.
We're visiting the Restigouche region, where Robin has almost reached the summit of Mount Sugarloaf, located right in the city of Campbellton.
I'm hiking 1,000 feet to the top of Sugarloaf Mountain in the city of Campbellton. The climb up Sugarloaf is rocky and steep, but there are plenty of handrails to assist you in your climb. Like any hiking excursion, be sure to wear the proper apparel and bring lots of water. At the top of Sugarloaf, you'll not only have an amazing view of the city of Campbellton, but as you gaze across the river, you'll see the neighboring province of Quebec.
I made it, people. I'm 1,000 feet up at the top of Sugarloaf Mountain. The Restigouche River, the city of Campbellton. What a gorgeous view.
Especially when one of the greatest Atlantic salmon rivers in the world runs right through the heart of your city. And several miles upstream, Michelle and I are perfecting our new fly fishing techniques.
I'm doing the flicker flag. You showed me the flicker flag pretty good here, Glenn. 2, release, flicker flag.
It's the flicker flack cast, folks, on the Restigouche. Michelle Levesque, Glen Ferguson, we coined that, we made it up, it's right here. It works exceptionally well for us, though we haven't caught anything with it. It looks good.
That's a big one.
You've got a big fish on here, folks, and one of the great things about the guides here, like Michelle, is that they'll pinpoint these fish. You saw one roll, he threw in the dry fly. Did it take the original one that you saw, Michelle?
Actually, it rolled right underneath the fly, so I gave him a few minutes and went back for it.
You got to be really careful. This is a pretty important fish here. It's moving around a bit, but what's the size? How big do you think it
I'd
is?
say at least 15, 18 pounds.
Ooh.
Looks like a nice size.
So Michelle and I will probably even take turns bringing this in because I really want to get this to the boat. And Michelle is far more experienced at it than I am. So this is a joint effort, folks. This fish is about 15 to 18 pounds. We're on the Restigouche River in New Brunswick. You catch the biggest Atlantic salmon here, and this is kind of even a small one for these parts, and it's still about 18 pounds.
And after casting that fly line what seemed to be 1,000,000 times, finally, we get the big one. And as you can tell, I'm just a little excited.
All right. That was worth the 1,000,000 casts we did, Michelle?
Yes, sir. 17.
17! Can I get a hold of them? We like to catch and release the fish here, folks. You don't have to catch and release everyone. But that is a beautiful fish. Restigouche salmon. Let's put them back, catch and release, to make babies for the next time. This is a big female.
Yeah, she's a nice one.
She's ready to go, too.
Oh yeah, she's lively.
I had a great day here in Campbellton. Got to climb a mountain, did some canoeing. Glenn got to fish some salmon. Campbellton is a beautiful city with a beautiful sunset.
The city of Campbellton and the Restigouche region is ideal for those outdoor enthusiasts. And New Brunswick is closer than you may think. It borders on the state of Maine, the provinces of Quebec and Nova Scotia, and is also linked by bridge to Prince Edward Island. You can follow the Appalachian Range route on a scenic drive to the city of Campbellton. Casting a line on the mighty Miramichi is as relaxing as it is exhilarating. Just follow the Miramichi River route, which begins at the capital city of Fredericton and takes you to the doorstep of the salmon fishing heaven. And speaking of heaven, you can't get much closer than in New Brunswick. And the northern part of New Brunswick in the Restigouche and Miramichi region offers the adventurers something totally different than the southern part. As you've seen, the fishing opportunities are incredible. The wildlife and scenery equally as good. And most of all, our people and culture are second to none. We'll see you next time on the New Brunswick Adventures, Canada's East Coast Experience.